Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Wednesday. It is January the 1st, the first day of the year 2025. 2025. Happy New Year. You're happily tuned in to the I'm Making It Happen radio show on the Reef 103.5 FM with Exception New York's Nykole Tyson. And we are here on Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And on I'm Making It Happen, we discuss how we can make it happen in our minds, bodies, finances, business, and culture, despite the inevitable and not so pleasant challenges. And that's to ultimately shift our mindsets and allow us to realize that we have the power to improve and maneuver every and any situation. And, I had a guest today, the director of festivals, but because of situations beyond his control, he's not able to make it today, but we'll definitely keep moving. And so, like, the first of the year, you're already starting to have to pivot. And so you still got to make it happen, right? So I definitely want to say good morning to everyone in the USVI, St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, the British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, anywhere you are in the Caribbean. Thanks so much for tuning in, as well as all those listening live via reefbroadcasting.com from the East to West Coast. Good morning to you. And all those watching live on Facebook. And soon I'm going to start the Instagram. And so definitely want to say good morning to you. And we're going to talk about a couple of things, reminders of what's happening for the festival, and then, just how we're starting off the year, right? So it's a new day, but is it a new you? And we're going to get into that in a second. Let me get started with my Instagram. 1 minute. I'll get it started in a second. So we know that today's January 1st. Right now, what's happening? Food fair in Frederiksted. The opening ceremony should be starting about now, and then food fair is going to be, officially open to everyone. So hopefully everybody's getting down there, getting all your treats for the year. Starting off the year, right? And then also we're going to talk about, so also happening tonight. So it's right now food fair all day in Frederiksted. And let's see. And then Soca Monarch competition is tonight in the village. So make sure you check that out. We had the Calypso Monarch competition. That was very happy to be a part of, and want to say congratulations to Lady Mac. And then runner-ups were Mighty Lady Macia was a winner, and then run-ups was Mighty Pat and Blackness. And so, it was a great competition, a great show for all that attended. I know you felt the same. And it was some really heavy hitters, and great performances. It was a very hard, competition to judge, but it was a great experience. And so that is what happened last week. And then the Battle of the Bands was also last week. I heard it was great. And also the food fair as a whole, the food is great. I was down there, and of course everybody's bringing their best. And so definitely encourage everyone to go down. Tonight is free. All the rest of the village nights are free. So make sure you go and support the booths in Frederiksted this evening. But right now, food fair is happening in the West. All right, let's go live here. Just a second. All right, and so tomorrow, the 2nd is Juve. So, those who participate, Juve is on for tomorrow, January 2nd. Children's Parade, of course, is January 3rd. And then we complete the festivities with the Adults Parade on January 4th. So time is going by so quickly. We're already January 1st. And just want to say welcome. And I'm glad to see and hear everyone. I heard those calling in this morning. Everyone is well. And wish everyone the best for the year. And so let's talk about, so that's the festivities that we're having for our Crucian Christmas Festival here on St. Croix. Anywhere you are, if you're not here, you still have time to make it. We have a lot still happening, so come on down to St. Croix. But it's a new year, it's a new day. But is it a new you? And so we transition into that. Before I get into that, though, I want to definitely make sure to encourage everyone to stay safe. Be safe on the roads. There's so many different things happening. Somebody almost hit me by not paying attention. So just make sure that, we are all staying safe, not drinking and driving. Make sure you have a designated driver. And if you do drink, don't drink too much. Just being aware of your surroundings and just continuing to have a safe and happy festival here in St. Croix, right? All right. So you don't want anything like that you can prevent, because some things you just can't prevent, but there are many things that we can prevent just by paying attention and being aware and just being responsible, taking accountability of the impact that we have around, of the impact we have with people around us, okay, and among us. And so just being that way. All right. So we're going to talk about the new year, going into the new year. And as I mentioned, we did have Division of Festivals. He apologized for not being here. He's right now doing the ceremony in Frederickstead. But definitely we'll have him at another time. We appreciated all the guests that we had for the season, starting off the season with Assistant Commissioner or Deputy Commissioner Shamari Haynes, and then we had participants in the Calypso Minor competition. Many of them, we had most of the pageant entries in the studio as well. Then we also had the Soca Minor competitors and a few of the Band Clash competitors in the studio. So it's been a very busy time, and just appreciate all those that participated in these events, and then more so the Division of Festivals for making sure that the public is aware and gets access to the information, and not just the information, but those who's participating. And so that was a recap of the shows for December. And going further, we're going to be, of course, bringing different shows about making it happen, and bringing new individuals talking about making it happen personally and then also collectively. And so you have to stay tuned for that. But as I mentioned, I want to talk about being a new year, and is it a new you? But it's just a new day, and a new day we can always shift, because every day gives us that opportunity. And so, we feel like, I know many people say, I'm going to do this for the new year, and I'm going to do that for the new year. But it started from before the new year. As you know, I've mentioned that before. You got to start habits before you can even make things happen, because it takes a while to change yourself. And talking about that, you can't change other people, right? But you can change yourself. And you know how hard it is to change yourself at times. And so, that takes some time to get into a rhythm, to get into a habit, to incorporate the daily practices that will become the habits in order to change. And so we have the opportunity every single day to do that. It doesn't have to wait for 2025, but we're in 2025. Do you feel any different? Right? It's just a new day, but I guess your mindset has shifted. Like, hey, the possibilities, right? The opportunities, the possible opportunities, and those kind of things that we can create. But we can do it every single day. So let's talk about that. What changed? What changed was only the day. So we can embrace renewal with every sunrise. Every time you open your eyes, it's a grateful day, because you're awake and you're able to, function in the world. And I learned from, it's something simple, but it's to me still profound, that I was in a conference and they were saying, people don't like problems, right? Nobody likes problems. But the only people that don't have problems are the people that are 6 feet under. So it's a blessing to have problems. And, you're always going to be able to resolve your problems, your issues. So as long as you're breathing and you're alive, you're going to have some friction in life. It's just life. We don't live in a perfect world. We don't live with perfect people. We're not perfect people. And so it's just every day is going to be some challenge is going to arise. It's be like, why have to happen now? It is happening. You're alive. Embrace it. You have the opportunity to handle it, because you're alive. So every morning the calendar flips, the sun rises, and the world gives us a subtle nudge, a reminder that each day is a blank canvas. We can create anything. The possibilities are endless, but it's just the way we think about it. So we're just talking about, we're now in 2025. It's the first day of the year. And I'm so happy to be with you on the first day of the year, my show lands, right? And so definitely wanted to still connect with you. But we'll talk about, so what changed overnight? It's just a date. But within that change lies something profound. It's the opportunity to start fresh. And so we feel that freshness when it comes to another year, but we can feel that freshness. And I'm going to continue to to emphasize, restate, reiterate, um, that the opportunity to start fresh is every day. Okay. And so we don't need to wait for a year, because even within this year, even within this day, you know, you're not, you're going to feel like challenged. You're going to may have a setback. You're going to have different things, and you're going to feel like, oh, I may not want to move forward in certain aspects. You're upset, frustrated, whatever that can come about, right? Because no day, you're never going to be happy like every second of the day. Some is good, something cut you off in traffic, changes your mood in a second, right? And so we have to continue to keep that mindset that today's a new day to start fresh. Right? Life doesn't require monumental shifts to renew itself. Sometimes all it takes is the next sunrise to remind us that we have another chance and another shot to try at whatever that we may not have been the best at the day before, the second before. I've said it before in the past. My mom was like, "Oh, you did such and such and such." I was like, "I don't do that. I don't do that anymore." And she's like, "But that was like 10 minutes ago." Yeah, that was 10 minutes ago. That was the past. 10 minutes in the past, right? And so I renewed myself in 10 minutes, and you can do that. You're not stuck, okay? So you have another shot to try, to learn, to grow, or even to simply rest and recharge. And we have to remember that. I have to remind myself with that as well. Is that just, you got to take time to rest and to recharge. And sometimes we're just going, and not taking that time, and it just compounds on our whatever feelings of frustration or emotions or whatever, because we're not taking that rest and recharge. Even though you feel like I have so much to do, it's never going to end. Why? It's never going to end because you're alive. We're alive, right? And so as long as we're alive, we're always going to have something to do, and it makes feel like you're behind the ball, but it's still going to be there. And so it's best that you just take some time. What do you say? Take a few steps back to move forward. So definitely rest is important. And so each day isn't just a continuation of yesterday. It's a chance to, one, rewrite a narrative. So like you say, okay, we are continuing every single day, but it's not a continuation. We should not look at it as a continuation of yesterday. This new day is we can write a new narrative. So we're going to talk about writing our goals, and looking at what we did well last in 2024. So you can do that today if you haven't already done that. And then what do you want to see in 2025? But every single day, not just 2025 as a whole. You have to break it up so that you have measurable, you can see where you're moving, or where you're growing, where you need to, shift and make some changes in order to still hit your goal. And so that's right. It's important to write it down so we can see that. So every day you can rewrite a narrative that you didn't like the day before. All right. Even with people, with situations, things sometimes don't resolve itself in the next day, right? But we have the ability to manage our emotions so that we can handle the situations, because at some point it's going to get resolved. We know it. 100% of the challenges that we've experienced, we've been able to overcome because we're still here. Okay, so you've already been a winner because you've overcome challenges, major, minor ones, but you're still here. So you're able to rewrite a narrative. You can add more color to your story, to a story that you love. You can make a decision that turns things around. You have the ability to do that. Sometimes it's not always being right. You can be like, what I used to say in the business that I had in the States. Used to say, you want to make money or you want to be right? Something around the lines like that. And so it's like, no, I want to make money. So then sometimes you just have to let go your ego. Maybe you are right, but coming to a common ground, getting a resolution to move forward, right? Not blowing up bridges just because to blow it up because you want to be, because you know you're right. Sometimes you just got to let things go, or, be the bigger person at times. Other times you might be like, no, I'm not going to be the bigger person today. But, overall, making decisions that can turn things around. And a lot of times we have the ability to do so, and yet we decide not to. So it's just a balance, looking at what you may have, looking at the pros and cons of things so that we can have a better result. Because we all want positive results in our life, and it's not always going to be black and white. There's going to be some things that we may, have to compromise in and adjust in, look at another person's perspective. It's not always our own perspective, and we're not always right. Okay, and that's just a whole other conversation. Just because you think it doesn't mean it's right. Just because your thoughts are not always true. Um, so it's just looking at things from other people's perspective. I had a conversation with someone just this week, a couple of days ago, and it came out to be a very good conversation. It was not intended to be as intense, but we were just talking about life and different things, culture, and you can see how people may not listen to what others are saying at times, and it's just your perspective. But if you take a time to listen to other people and to think about their perspective and to see their point of view from their shoes, it's not always from our way of seeing things, then it makes life a lot easier. Okay, so if you're just tuning in, we're talking about making every day, embracing every day as a new day to refresh and recharge. And then also daily micro renewals. So every morning we can reset with whatever your way of waking up, a routine, a ritual, a cup of coffee maybe for some, taking deep breaths, having a moment of gratitude, not taking your phone like this morning, turning over, picking up your phone for the first thing. I did that for myself today. And so I was going to pick up my phone. I got home late. I wanted to pick up the phone. Oh, this morning I woke up after getting in late. And so I turned over to get my phone to see, what messages I may have not seen as yet. And then I just put it right back down. I said, Nykole, you're not doing this first thing in the morning. I'm going to pray, meditate, and, think about what you're grateful for. And so I did that just today. And I'm going to work to make sure that picking up my phone is not the first thing. Right? And so that's a ritual, morning, resetting every morning, making sure you're staying grounded and, thinking about the things you want to get done and praying or meditating, whatever it is to get grounded for the day. Having a moment of gratitude. These small acts help reset your mind and get you present for the day. Not getting on social media, and looking at everybody else's statuses. No, what is your status? You have an internal status. And so making sure that your status is correct and good for you to perform and be productive. Midday pauses. Even a 5-minute walk or a stepping away from your work can renew your energy and focus. So going forward and every day, just taking the time to, wherever you are, appreciate where you are. Being able to go walking. If you're stressed out, go for a walk. If your day gets busy, and just taking a time, just really being intentional about focusing on yourself and getting regrounded. A lot of times it's just that we keep going. That increases our stress, our anxiety, right? And then in the evening, so that's a morning reset, a midday pause, and then an evening reflection. Close the day with a question. What did I learn? And how can I make tomorrow even better? What did you learn today? We can always look back at what we learned or what experience that what things we experienced, and then how we can make tomorrow even better. All right. And then you don't need, as I mentioned, you don't need to wait for January 1st. Think of every day as its own new year. Why wait for the calendar to declare it's time to change? Small, consistent steps taken daily are often more powerful than huge resolutions once a year, because most people don't even, continue with their resolutions. Many have, that's why gym memberships, they make a lot of money, because you're saying, okay, I'm going to go to the gym, and you start off maybe January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and then the 5th, it's packed for the first couple days or week, and then it goes back to being empty. So having small, consistent steps. I loved it. I've been seeing, older, younger people walking on the bike paths, biking. I see a lot more people biking. I'm seeing a lot of people running, but I see a lot more people biking. That's really cool. We need to have more bike paths or ways for people to do that. What's it called? Commute with bikes, like regular bicycles. And then the running and the walking, I saw more of that before the year started. So just starting small, consistent steps, drinking your water. We're going to get into that. I'm going to take a break. And then I'm going to get into details about like physical aspect, mental aspects, those type of things for the new year. All right. And so, if you're just joining, you're listening to I'm Making It Happen with Nykole Tyson, talking about starting a new year and continuing it off, right? Because, we don't have to wait for a new year, because it actually is a new day. It's just a new day that makes it a new year. And so we can always refresh and recharge every single day. We're going to take a break, but before we do so, definitely want to remind you of a couple things. Carlos Furniture is your number one furniture store in the territory, located in Peters Rest, St. Croix, and Tutu Park Mall, St. Thomas, continuing to have huge sales, clearance items. Make sure you check them out. Open 7 days a week. They have new arrivals every day and huge sales. Okay, that's Carlos Furniture. All right. Also, Caribbean Closeout. They're located behind the laundromat, the Lorraine laundromat. You go through the gate. You'll see the sign on the right. Go through the gate behind the laundromat. You make a left. They're all the way to the end of that long building. And it's interesting. I found some neat items, really cool items for very inexpensive. I was shockingly surprised. Shocking prices. And it was really cool. You got to sift through the items, but there's a lot of cool things. There's clothes, shoes, and just other knickknacks that you can use, and you'll be surprised at the prices. Some people got headphones, really nice headphones when I was in there. Some seats for the parade that was only $4, and they were really sturdy and nice. And more. I don't know if they still have it, but the inventory changes every day. So check out Caribbean Closeout on St. Croix. And yeah, so we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll talk more about how we can reset and recharge for 2025. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're listening to I'm Making It Happen on this January 1st, 2025 with Exception Years Nykole Tyson. We're talking about, first of all, we started off reminding you food fair is happening right now in Frederickstead, and then this evening is going to be the Soca Monarch competition in the village, and then we have Juve tomorrow, January 2nd, and Children's Parade January 3rd, and Adults Parade January 4th. Okay, make sure you support the Children's Parade. And then we talked about just refreshing, recharging, renewing every single day, and reminding you that the new year has possibilities, right? We're so excited. It's a new year. It's a new day. We have fresh possibilities. But we could do it every day, because every day is new. It's one today's one we have never seen, and we will never see today again, because we can't go back to January 1st after we go tomorrow, right? And so it's a fresh start every single day. We talked about that we can recharge and renew every single day, not just waiting for the new year. And so now we're going to talk about just breaking that down. All right. So moving forward for 2025, we can have a blueprint for our success, creating a plan starting 2025 right. So we can reflect and celebrate what we did best or what we didn't do as good in 2024. And so jot down your wins. It's important to jot down the things that you did well, or that you, no matter how small it is, jot it down, make a note of it. And then, so did you stick to a fitness routine, or did you tackle a long overdue project? Because, we're always the hardest on ourselves. And so it's important to recognize or acknowledge when we've done well, right? Because we can always do better, but we've all advanced and progressed in some ways, right? So definitely jot those things down, and then write down lessons you learned, and reflect on the challenges, so it can help you in your personal growth. Failure isn't falling down. Failure is staying down. And so as I said, we can always talk about it in my intro all the time, making it happen despite the inevitable challenges. Because I say inevitable, I try to remind you, because you're always going to have a challenge. It's never not going to be a challenging time or a challenging morning. It's never going to be perfect, even though you're having a great day. There's always something could be better. And so, we just have to what's the word I want to use? Can't think of the word right now, but we have to just remind ourselves that it's never going to be perfect, and we got to keep moving. So again, failure isn't falling down, it's staying down. And then now to move forward with that, set goals, not resolutions. I don't do resolutions. I just have goals I write out every single day, for the week, for the day, for the month, and then just always checking back to see where I'm at. So it's called SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So instead of saying I'm gonna get healthy or I want to lose weight, no, say like, I'm gonna walk 10,000 steps daily for 30 days. So it's more specific. So that's a specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound, because it's a specific for 10,000 steps a day. So that's measured. So it's 10,000 steps, specific, measurable, daily. And then is it achievable? It's 30 days. You're not saying like I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. I'm going to do it at least for 30 days. Or you can say I'm going to do 10,000 steps for the next 7 days or whatever it is. I'm going to eat more fruits. And not even say eat more fruits. I'm going to eat these types of fruits every single day. I'm going to add vegetables to my diet every single day. I'm going to reduce the rice. I'm going to drink more water. So those kind of things are measurable and specific. Instead of saying I'm just going to get more healthy, you need to put your mind on a specific task. Give your mind a specific task to achieve. All right, and then possibly creating vision boards. I have a vision book because when I traveled, moved home, I had a vision board and I couldn't take my vision board, my big boards, right? So I created a vision book, and so that was easier for me to travel with. If I decided to move, I decided to stay home on St. Croix. So, but I did create a vision book if I were to have to travel, make a move again if I wanted to move, reside somewhere else. And so, vision board shares, so share how, so motivate yourselves to create a vision boards. All right, then prioritizing. We're going to talk about prioritizing our health. We already talked about it a little. And our wellness, we're going to get into details about hydration, consistent sleep. I already talked about recharging and your fitness routine. And then we'll also talk about like mental health practices for mindfulness, journaling, scheduling time for ourselves. I kind of touched on a bit of that. And then, of course, the biggest one with New Year's is our finances. These are just basic. Everybody wants to have these: health, mindset, mental health, physical health, mastery over our finances, strengthening our relationships, community engagement. These are just basics that everybody wants. No matter like how I guess maybe upsets or complaints or frustrations that people have, difference of opinions or differing, not agreeing on things. The basic is that everybody wants these things. And so we talk about mastering our finances, reviewing spending, small changes have a big impact with our finances, and then strengthening our relationships. But first, let's go to fitness. All right, so we talk about hydration. So this morning, I haven't eaten as yet, but it's intentional because I want to drink. I drank more water. I drank water this morning, and so it's like intermittent fasting with all the different eatings, we're all doing. So just give myself a break for the morning. And so I want to drink more water. That's my intent, hydration. So you aim for 8 to 10 glasses of water daily, or however many liters. And so, one thing is that I'm working on is waking up, and the first thing I do is drink a glass of water to rehydrate after sleeping. All right. And drinking water can boost your energy levels and improve brain function. If you didn't know, our body is 80% water. So it's important that we, hydrate. And I don't always do that. So that's one of my goals for the month. Not just the year, for the month, for the week. Starting today, I did good so far. So that's mine. And then nutrition. Focus on whole nutrient-rich foods. So including, lean proteins, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and healthy fats. I also want to incorporate local foods, making sure you're getting as many things locally, and that's one of the things that I'm going to be incorporating as well. Avoid crash diets and opt for balance and consistency. So, like we talked about it, reducing some things. What's bad for you? We get these plates of food and have so much rice. We've talked about it before, and such a little bit of vegetables. But you can ask them, hey, instead of putting all that rice, half the rice, and can you put more vegetables on the plate? So these are things that you have control over. and then and then meat, having your protein. So having more protein, more vegetables, and less of the rice and whatever carbs. Okay, and meal prepping. That's one thing I'm going to be doing. And thinks I was supposed to start tomorrow, but I don't think I can commit to tomorrow. But I think I will commit to after the season. With having going a week with just eating vegetables and fruits. But I'm kind of tempted with all this food fair stuff happening. So I think that the commitment might be next week. But I have a workout partner in that part, so we gotta conversate on that part. So yeah, that's where things I'm working on for myself. So fitness routine, starting small. I've been working out. I've been pushing myself. I don't feel like working out ever. So, but definitely having accountability partners, people that you work out with, it does help. Peer pressure, there is peer pressure. There's good and bad peer pressure. Positive peer pressure is the good, doing something positive for yourself, and that's these things. And when you have a group of people doing it, and they expect to see you at a certain time to work out, it gets you up. So making sure you have accountability partners helps. So as we mentioned, starting small, walking 10 to 15 minutes daily, either early in the morning. I'm a morning person more so than the afternoon. So, just choose the best time for yourself. But, walking 10 to 15 minutes daily, and then you gradually increase it. You're not just, you can just walk casually, but then increasing your pace, because that's where you're going to get your heart rate up, and that's what you want. And then try stretching or yoga for flexibility and stress relief. You can get a lot of these things online by going to YouTube. You don't have to go to the gym. Gym sometimes is good and motivating, but good motivator. But a lot of things you can do just by working out at home, and you still get the results that you want. And you can actually type in what you want. So stretching and those kind of things is important. And also dancing, swimming, hiking. These are all exercises as well. Swimming is like the best kind of exercise because it works out your whole body. And I used to swim a lot when I was in college instead of going to the gym, because the gym, I used to get bored by being in the gym. But definitely swimming was a lot of fun. So you can, incorporate that. And we have the beach, so there's no reason not to go swimming. I know it might be cold for us locally, but definitely it's still there. I've been hearing people still going to the beach, right? In the morning. So it just depends on your tolerance level with how cold the water is. And then just being consistent over intensity, not doing so much that you don't feel like going back to the gym again or working out. So not, saying I'm working out 2 hours, 1 hour, 10 minutes at a time, 15 minutes at a time, 20 to 30 minutes, increasing it. That's going to definitely be better than nothing. And then, increasing over time, as I say. So don't do an overdo of a workout so that you prevent burning out. And let's see. And then sleep hygiene. So sleeping, making sure you're getting the rest. We know during this time for all the festivities, you might not be getting the sleep. But definitely we're going to renew after the, festivities. But for those who are not going to be, up late at night, these past next 4 days, definitely your sleep hygiene, sticking to a consistent sleep schedule. And this one says even on the weekend, but definitely during the week. And creating a relaxing bedtime routine, dimming the lights, avoiding screens, and aim for 7 to 9 hours, right? And okay, so we're going to take a break. And when we get back, I'm going to close out with like mental health and then some ways that we can take charge of our finances, right? Before we take the break, I definitely want to remind you of Quality Auto Parts. I'm located near Sunny Isles, and they're also open 7 days a week. So make sure you check out Quality Auto Parts, as well as Best Home. They are also open 7 days a week, and they have all of your goods. So make sure you check out Best Home in either Gallows Bay or in Princess near Foodtown. All right, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back. You're listening to I'm Making It Happen radio show on the Reef with Nykole Tyson. Happy New Year, January 1st, 2025. Starting the year off right. It just took one day to make it a new year. So we mentioned every day can be a new day, new fresh start. make a campaign for our own lives. We've had all kind of elections, yeah, locally and then nationally. And so, what's the campaign for your life? Every day is a campaign. What are you running for in your life? So, that's what we're talking about. And we can have a shift every single day. And yeah, so we talked about initially recharging and resetting every day. We talked about, let's see, I guess hydration, like physical stuff. Now we're talking about mental real quick. Time is flying. And so mental health, nourishing our minds, because that's how we make it happen. You know, nourishing our inner world. Meditation, I mentioned that in the beginning. Daily starting off the day right, not the first thing grabbing our phones, checking our emails, answering any calls, but taking some time to really focus our breath and having gratitude, whatever your way of meditating or praying, or just deep breathing exercises. Inhaling for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, and this helps to reduce anxiety, increase clarity, and promotes relaxation. Writing things down, we mentioned that in the beginning for planning our goals, but it also is here for mental health. I find that myself, like writing things out if I'm feeling kind of uneasy, what is going on, what do I need to do, and getting it all out my head, writing everything I need to get done. Once I see it on paper, it just makes it so much more manageable. And then, just checking it off, putting a date. When do I need to get this done by? So just writing that down. And then you can also write down, we mentioned writing what you're grateful for, what your thoughts and feelings, and also thoughts and feelings to release mental clutter. So, yeah, I said social connection is important. So not isolating yourself, but, definitely scheduling regular checkups with loved ones, family member, friends, or just going out and being about with individuals. It just helps with our mental state as well. Joining a group or community based, so that may be a goal too, to be more engaged in the community. And remember, it's not always you need a whole bunch of people, because it's quality over quantity. All right, you could be amongst a lot of people and still feel alone, depending on the type of people you have around you. So just making sure that you're creating meaningful interactions. And then, maybe therapy or counseling can benefit, and it's not a bad thing. Definitely we need to encourage it more in our community. And so normalizing that, speaking to a professional if you're feeling overwhelmed. And even there's online therapy for privacy, all right, and confidentiality. That's the word I want to use. All right, so online therapy is now widely available for your convenience. And then breaking the cycle, taking breaks. You mentioned that during your work day, standing, stretching, stepping outside, engaging in hobbies, things that you like to do that makes you feel good. That could be a kind of incentive to say, okay, I'm going to finish this. And if I get to finish this, I can do this. I can reward myself. So making sure you reward yourself, right? It's not just to be boring. Just always working. Got to reward ourselves. And so we can avoid overloading. And saying no when necessary. Point blank. And no other sentence needed, right? Because sometimes we just take on too many things, and then we are left behind the eight ball because we're tired, and we're this and we're that, because we're doing so much for other people. So make sure you're doing it for yourself too. And then the digital detox, limiting screen time, especially on social media, reducing that. Everybody is puts up their best reels, right? And so not focusing on social media and all those other aspects of it. Focusing on yourself. Detox from the timelines. Make sure that, especially for children, okay? And then using the extra time to pursue other, relaxation or endeavors. And so that's about it for now. Let me see. I did want to talk about the financial part just real quickly. And let's see. So, just, creating a budget, looking at where you're spending. You can just look at your own, your, what is it, your financial statements from the bank. I'm seeing where your money's going, and then possibly removing yourself from subscriptions. Remembering to do that. And then as well, the same thing we did for ourselves in regards to our goals for the year. It's the same SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound goals. So if you want to save a certain amount of money, if you want to pay off whatever kind of bills, make sure you're saying this is the amount I want to do by this amount of time. I'm breaking it up by the month, right? Or even by the week. And just creating a budget. 50% income going towards to your household, utilities, groceries, then 30% for like entertainment and travel, 20% for savings. You can find these things online. Building up an emergency fund, paying down debts, and then there's a whole strategy for paying down your debts, and then planning for big expenses. Just having those things mindful and writing it down. What do you want? It's all achievable. You just gotta start, right? Just gotta start. And then staying organized with it. Writing it down, getting a folder. It all helps. All right, so these are just I just went through that one quickly. But the biggest one, in order to manage your finances, I feel, is your mental health. In order to manage your health as well, it comes back to your mental health. So staying grounded, knowing that the only people that don't have challenges are 6 feet under, and they have the opportunity every day to address whatever comes our way. And that you are and can continue to make it happen. January 1st, 2025, you listen to I'm Making It Happen with Nykole Tyson. It was a pleasure being with you for the first day of the year. Thank you for those tuned in near and far. I will see you, next week. And we will have a guest. And I so appreciate you. Continue to be safe. As if you're here in St. Croix and enjoying the festivities, make sure you stay safe. Don't drink and drive. Have a designated driver, and just be mindful of your impact around, your surroundings, with your people within your space, and be considerate. That's the most important thing. Be considerate. Treat people how you want to be treated, or better. All right. And so we'll connect again on next week, Wednesday, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. As I said, it's a pleasure. Happy New Year. Have a great rest of the day. Remember, this is just a new day, but you can restart, refresh every single day. It is a new calendar for you, a new opportunity for all of us every single day. So just keep that in mind, and that's the intent of I'm Making It Happen. You're gonna make it happen regardless of what comes your way. So today, I had to create this show. Was not what the intended topic was, but I had to make it happen today. All right, in a few moments. And I hope that I made, contributed to you, and you found some good from what we talked about for sure today. All right. And so we'll connect again on next week, Wednesday, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you don't see something happening, create it. Be the change. And until next time, keep thinking outside the box, coloring outside the lines. And remember, it's about you, me, we. So make it happen.